County.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Krista McKee, and today we are featuring mushrooms and lavender. But right here, we are at Joanne Anderson's home, and she is the mushroom guru of Graham Bruce County, I would have to say. I'm simply amazed at what you've got set up here on the table. How in the world did you get hooked on mushrooms?
Well, it all started, I'd say, about 4 years ago. We were having work done. We were actually getting our excavating done, and they were drilling the foundation for the garage. Anyways, the man says to me, he says, "Oh," he says, "I used to go morel hunting on your property line, and this and that." He says, it was near the beginning of May, and he's like, "You know, it was really cool. We used to get tons of morels, and I lived down the road in a farm, you know, and this and that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's good." And so he left for the day, and I'm like, "What's a morel?" I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know a clue. You know, I've heard of them, but I've never seen one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go look for this morel, right? So I Googled it, what it would look for. So I looked and looked and walked and went next door and went everywhere. And I'm like, I was out for about an hour. I'm like, no way. This guy didn't know he's talking about her. I don't know what I'm looking for. They are very elusive.
They are,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, whatever. So I go to the back. I'm sitting, taking my shoes off and stuff and sitting down. And I look back and I can't be. So go from here to like where the garage is, I'd say. Yeah, that distance I seen
right.
a mushroom. What I thought was a mushroom. So I walked up to it and I went, "Oh, no way." And I just fell to my knees and I just started laughing, going, "Oh my goodness."
Now you know what a morel looks like.
Yeah,
yes.
And it was just a pristine specimen. No bugs on it, eating it yet. It was, you know, beautiful blonde morel. And I'm like, how can anything be so beautiful and unique as a morel mushroom?
Yeah.
And that was basically the beginning of the end, and ever since then it was like I was hooked. It was destiny.
Wow.
Destiny.
You have if I had come across something like this in the bush, I would not eat it because I have no idea what it is. And a lot of people are very I guess smart mushroom foragers, because if you don't know what it is, you shouldn't be eating it, or you should be contacting people that do know the mushrooms, like yourself. You have created a business here, and you have these, by the looks of it, you've got blocks. So explain what you've started here with your business.
Well, for one, these are pink oysters. They're not native to Canada, but you don't have to worry about them taking over our forest because the mycelium would die in our winters. It's native to Indonesia in that area.
So you're calling it mycelium? That's the fungi?
That's the rooting system of the mushroom.
That's the rooting system. Okay.
Yeah. Like if you look at, it's like, it looks like fine little cobwebs. All mycelium's different. Like if you go with the lion's mane, for example, mycelium is very, very fine, very wispy. Where if you go to like pearl oyster or even probably Namacos, very thick, very white. Looks like string, you know, like if you could take all the, not maybe string, but some mushrooms. Yeah. So yeah, this is a pink oyster. You wouldn't find that in the bush.
So, because it's not native, right?
Yeah. But you will find oysters in the bush. Just not a pink oyster.
Not a pink oyster.
You'd find like elm oyster, just regular white oyster. Yeah. What else would you find? Yeah, like there's a lot of different types of oysters that you'd find.
There's many. And one thing that I was really intrigued by when you, Joanne was giving us kind of a quick view through her flower beds. You've got some outdoor growing in containers.
Yeah.
With special special soil, right? But
no, it's just regular soil.
It is regular soil?
Yeah. So what I do once my kits are done. They're spent. They're called. You can fruit a kit up to maybe 2 times.
Okay.
Like you would like this has got a lot more to grow, right? So once it's full size, you harvest it, you let the kit rest for 2 weeks in the dark. You would tape up the holes and let it rest, and then fruit it again in 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have instructions on the website how to achieve a second flush. It's not always guaranteed you're going to get a second flush, and the second flush won't be as big as the first flush.
Right.
Because the mycelium's slowly dying because it's running out of food.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Right.
So
right.
once a kit is done, like once I fruit it once, let's say I'll take the mushrooms, have them for dinner, and then I'll open up the kit, take out the substrate, take out the block, and then I break it up into the container guarding and add more food.
Ah, okay. That's how
the food is yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because the mushrooms need food to eat, so once they're out of food, they will die.
Right. Okay, so then mushrooms that are native to here, like some of these will come up next year, or they're all just they're not like an annual or perennial flower?
Your oysters,
yeah.
Like your pinks won't come up, all right, because the mycelium will die. They can't handle our freezing winters.
They can't handle the winter.
Yeah, but you could bring it inside and then and grow kits inside and expand the kits if you want.
Yeah, yeah, I never thought of that. Okay.
Your pearl oysters will survive our winter. That's what I inoculated my one tree with. Yeah, they'll survive our winter. Namacos will survive. Wine caps, of course, will survive the winter.
Right. Now, and you mentioned that you inoculated a tree. So Joanne has...
with the substrate.
Yes. Yeah. So you've drilled holes in a tree, and she's actually put... Yeah.
And you stuff it in, and you plug it, and you wait.
And you wait, and it grows...
For years. A tree that size, like I said, would take about 2.5 years before I start seeing a lot of flushes, like a lot of big flushes from that tree.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I'm intrigued by, now when Joanne was setting up the table here, this part broke off, if I may.
It's heavy. They get heavy. They don't look heavy, but
it's just, so this grew how quickly?
Well, this is the same mushroom, it's just a smaller kit. So there's this guy is about two days old since pin set, maybe 3, going on 3 days old.
Okay, pin set means?
Once the mushroom starts to come out of the hole. When you cut, like when you get the kit, of course it doesn't have the holes cut in because the mushrooms will come out of it, right?
Right.
So the customer gets the kit, I have it pre-marked where to cut the hole. For pearl oysters, takes anywhere from 5 to 7 days before it pin sets, before it just comes out like a blob.
Right. Okay.
Right, until the caps start to form. Yeah, so this guy's about 3 days old. Wow. I cut the X probably 7 days ago.
Wow.
8 days ago. So it took about 5 days to pin set. This is pin set.
It's
starting to form caps.
Just little wee caps, yeah. Yeah, they look like little babies.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, pin set. Pins, it's pinning.
It is pinning, yeah.
It's pinning. And then it starts to get bigger, as long as the conditions are right.
Right.
That's why you have to have like the proper humidity and fresh air and stuff like that to form your caps properly.
Right, that makes sense. So
when we sell a kit, we sell like the humidity bag. And then we have a video, actually, too, that me and my son did. My friend filmed it. She did a great job. And this, like, goes over, like the kit. In the summer, it's a lot more humid in people's house, so you don't have to worry about humidity as much as, but in the winter, mushrooms, especially oysters, a lot of people, customers like to, that's why we made a video, They like to smother their mushrooms, and then they send me pictures of these sad-looking mushrooms that are all starving for oxygen. And what happens when they starve for oxygen? They get all cricket, and the stems get really, really, like 3 times as long as that, and the caps don't form. The caps get all deformed because it's starving for oxygen.
Right.
Mushrooms need oxygen to get nice caps.
So you've got a humidity bag, which is kind of like what you see after a big rain, right? Mushrooms seem to flourish after we've had a lot of rain on the forest
or lightning.
floor.
I know whenever it's lightning or thundering, I am going mushroom hunting the next day because it just stimulates them. Yeah, even with like shiitake, when I showed you the logs, sometimes they don't fruit for people. That's why we do the 24-hour soak in water. You can get a hammer and bang the block. Any type of stress or anything to get them to pin set. People will put their kits in the fridge for a day. Let's say like you're having a problem with a pearl oyster for some reason. They don't always behave. Like I call myself the keeper. These are the mushroom masters. My friends always say, "Oh, you're the mushroom master." I'm like, "No, I'm just the keeper. These guys are the masters."
They are the masters.
Sometimes they don't always do what they wanted, like what you want them to do. So I will tell customers, "Okay, it's being stubborn. Put it in the fridge You got cold shock it. Start over, soak it, maybe soak the kit in water and then start over. And then usually they will get a pinza. They just do that sometimes. They have a mind of their own. I honestly believe it. So when you do get a kit, like, so the kit will go, like we have a video.
Yeah.
And then the skewers. So this will create like the little environment that they thrive in.
Yeah, it's a little mini greenhouse.
Yeah, and then we have that you wet a kitchen towel and squeeze it out, a cotton towel, and just put it around just to help with humidity. And then, so it just, the little kits, the bag's a little big for the little kits, but, so they'll just basically, so they'll set their kit up like that, they put the towel here, and then they will mist inside the kit.
Right.
You can, once the mushrooms are this big, you can mist them directly.
Wow.
Oysters, not lion's mane. Lion's mane will turn brown if you mist it directly. But that's always in here.
You've got all the directions, and people can obtain these kits. Fabulous idea. Like
I didn't create it. They've been around for a while. Kits have been around for a while, but yeah.
So do certain mushrooms like certain type of medium? Like, do they like pine shavings,
no,
oak
it has
shavings?
to be hardwood shavings.
It has to be hardwood.
Has to be hardwood, yeah. There are mushrooms that will softwood, pine shavings, like phoenix oysters and certain types of oysters. I've had people have success with wine caps in pine shavings, so it's not the preferred substrate, but it's all hardwood.
Right, and it makes sense because we find mushrooms in forests as a rule. They're not usually out in full sun, but there'll be that kind of mottled sun atmosphere. That they would grow in. Yeah,
and they're usually on hardwood logs. Not always. Like you find reishi. Like reishi, for one, is hemlock. They like not this type of reishi. This is Ganoderma lucidium. But the reishi we find around here, Ganoderma like Tusang, it was found on hemlock. So I'm not sure if hemlock is that a softwood or hardwood.
I would say soft.
Yeah. Yep. But that is the preferred wood for that type of mushroom. Like here it is here, but it's all dried. It's a medicinal mushroom.
A medicinal mushroom.
Oh yes, if you look into reishi, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years, being used as a medicinal, especially in Asia and countries like that.
Wow! And I see you've got soap and you've got lip balm.
These are promotional items. I just wanted when I send them out free.
Wow!
To customers when it's promotions and stuff like that.
Oh, there's just so much here. You have so many products. How can people get in touch with you?
With the website, themushroomsetc.ca.
.ca, okay.
Yeah, and all the kits are on there, all the prices. We have recipe pages. We have the video on how to fruit the kits. We also have how to make totems. Remember I showed you the totem?
Yes,
how to inoculate logs.
And you've got fermenting here as well.
How to expand the kits if you want to expand a kit and create more mushrooms. How to make grain spawn. This is grain spawn.
Oh my.
Because we sell, I sell liquid culture too. So this is for your do-it-yourselfers that want to do it themselves.
Wow.
That's what it means. Of course, that's what it means. So
you have a lot here. So if you are interested in growing some mushrooms, they look delicious, and I would imagine they taste way better than what I'm usually buying, the little button ones. Because that's all I really know.
Mushrooms, once you get into gourmet mushrooms, the taste is
so
totally
much different.
Yes, for sure.
So definitely check out her webpage and her Facebook page, and she will be able to lead you through the fungi mushroom world. Thank you very much for letting us stop in, Joanne.
Here.
Thanks.
Great.
Stay tuned. We'll go to the lavender farm next.
Treaty in Cree is Naskomitoin, an oral agreement. And our agreements were always spoken. For George Spence, the core of treaty was Wichihioin, to help one another.
And so we, the commissioners...
He was there for the making of Treaty 9, where the Cree were told...
We will honor this agreement together, for as long as the sun shines and the waters flow.
The Cree made their mark because they were assured that the land would be shared, and they would always be able to harvest what they needed. George Spence was my great-grandfather. In his life, he saw many promises of the treaty go unfulfilled.
Treaties were essential to the creation of Canada. First Nations still fight for the agreements to be honored.
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Welcome back to the show. We are now located at Luscious Lavender and Herb Farm, which is located just north of Allen Park, on Allen Park Road. Here, the owners, Katrina and Dylan, and their boys have an absolute fabulous farm that they have started. And behind us, they are harvesting right now.
Yeah.
So the purpose of harvesting is?
So behind us we have our fields that we just put in this year. So part of managing the crop growth is to make sure that those plants are establishing as much root as they can. So what we're doing today is taking off the starters of the crop that has begun in fields 2 and 3. But in front of us here we have a second season plant which is very much on its way to being well established. So you can see that the vast difference in size between the crop in the fields behind us as to the ones in front here.
In front, yes. So you've called them fields 1, 2, and 3. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Each field is 1 acre in size.
Okay.
And it contains approximately 1,680 plants.
Wow.
So between the 3 fields now, which is a total of 3 acres, we have just over 5,000 plants that we've hand transplanted.
Wow. And you guys are nodding, the boys are nodding their head. Yes, it was definitely a family adventure, right? You guys were helping plant, which is fabulous. I like this idea of the filter cloth, and you've also got watering. I noticed when we were coming out through the field. So everything, you get to turn things on at a switch and watering's done automatically and there's no weeding required. That's kind of gardening.
Yeah, that's right. We have 2 rows of irrigation that is drip irrigation in each 100-foot bed. So each length of lavender that you see here is 100 feet long.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, one thing I noticed when we were driving in is you have signs on every row, which, again, that's perfect for me because you've got each one named by their specific and Latin name, and you can tell what type of flower you're looking for, right? Because they're all different. They all seem to be different as we drive in. The sizes are different. The flowers are different. What is your favorite? I know it's a stacked question.
No, it's a tough question. We do have 7 varieties in field 1, and we added 2 additional varieties in fields 2 and 3 for a total of 9 in those fields. It's really, each one has its own character. It has its own scent when we're distilling with our steam distiller and making essential oils. And it really depends on what use we're looking for. Some have longer stems as the ones we see in front of you, which is phenomenal. Some have very short stems, but they have many, many flowers, and they bloom throughout the year. So, of course, we love all lavender, but my particular favorite is the Phenomenal. It's doing very well this year. And hopefully, we haven't distilled it this year yet, but we're looking forward to sampling the essential oil that we're going to get from that.
Right. Now, you mentioned distilling. So can you, I noticed when we came in, you have a beautiful copper pot. It kind of reminds me of, we won't get into that, bootlegging, but what you're doing is making essential oil. So explain that process. Right.
So it's a steam distillation, which the technology is not new. It's a very old technology. The process is quite simple, but the product that we get out of the distillation is amazing. We get 2 products that we can use from that. One being hydrosol, or commonly known as floral water, and the second, which is the more sought after essential oil that people use in distillers, in different products, personal products, all kinds of different things. So that's basically the process, and it all just involves heat and water.
Heat and water.
And of course the lavender.
And so you're just picking the flower, or do you use the leaf as well, like when you do the harvest?
Right, good question. When we harvest for oil, we are taking a stem length as well. That provides a little bit of space inside the column of the distiller to allow the steam to pass through. And there is a little bit of oil in that green section as well. But the real characteristic of each lavender is contained within that bloom. So we're really looking for the flowers on the end, and they have to be in bloom. So what you're looking at, a piece there that has buds that haven't quite gotten to a bloom,
right.
But there are some on that plant that you'll see a little flower popping out.
They have popped out.
Yeah.
You see the lighter purple.
Right. Yes. So then it's more fragment. The fragment is there, not fragment. Pardon me. The fragrance is there once that opens. Even though you can smell it, because everyone always touches lavender and they want to smell it. So you also have a store here as well that I haven't had a chance to have a peek at, but you have tons of lavender products as well that you sell in there, right?
Yes. Yes, we make all of those here.
And you make all of those products here as well. Oh, wow. This really is a family business. You guys are kept busy, so like this is your summer job. Yeah, my goodness. You have lavender for sale as well out front, so if anyone was interested in purchasing some lavender, they can do that as well when they're here. I noticed you have tours.
Yes.
So you can take them through the different plantations that you have and explain the different types. I know there's so many different varieties. You mentioned that you've got 9, but some are larger, some are smaller.
That's right, yep. So we have both English and French varieties that we grow here. We are limited of the 250 approximate different varieties of lavender. We are somewhat limited in terms of what we can grow in our area because of the climate.
Right.
So we've chosen hardier varieties that we believe will do well, and they have proven to do so this year. So we do offer live plants for sale at the farm store, and we have 2 French varieties and 5 English varieties in field 1 here.
In field 1 here. There's definitely a huge difference between them flower wise. Color is all purple, and that's what you're striving for is just the purple variety. Is that what's preferred?
We do have one variety and it's called Melissa, which actually offers a white flower. So, but we've already harvested it for oil, and so you don't see that in the field today, but it does come up quite a beautiful white, and then actually turns pink once it gets to the flower stage.
Okay, it does. Wow. And the bees here are very happy. So do you have hives here as well to help with the pollination?
We don't as of yet. This is all just what's happening with Mother Nature and the surrounding bees that are in our area. This year we've noticed a tremendous difference in the amount of bees that are here, and we're quite pleased to see the amount that are here. Always something that we're always concerned about is making sure that bee population has enough food and that they're continuing to thrive in the area for sure.
Definitely, yes, especially with the bee health right now as well, that has definitely come to mind. But yeah, selling lavender honey would be delicious. Yeah, I would have to say.
We do have lavender honey that we infuse with another apiary. So we take our lavender and our chamomile and we infuse it in their honey, and we do have that for sale here in our farm store.
Oh, wow. Magnificent. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to having a quick tour because I've planted lavender, and I have to say mine does not look like this. So I'm definitely doing something wrong, or I need a different variety, because mine looks as if it's just ill. I'm afraid, and I don't have near the bouquet of flowers that you guys here. Do you fertilize these as well, or this is just normal?
So short answer is this is normal.
This is normal.
The more in depth is we have applied some amendments in the beginning, organic, that we have added. But one thing that we have done is planted organic white Dutch clover, which is a nitrogen fixing plant, which is basically fertilizing as it's growing.
That makes sense,
Yeah.
yes. So then when you're cutting the clover as well, then you're creating, that all makes sense.
Yeah, food for lavender, yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Well, we're going to have a quick peek through the store, and I really want to get a good look at the distiller.
These were harvested this morning, these plants. And basically the process is loading this column with fresh lavender. This is about 1/2 to 3/4 full of water. And then we have a propane burner on the bottom. And once we have this column loaded, and it has to be packed fairly tight.
Really? Wow.
Once it's packed tight, we turn the burner on. We obviously assemble the top and the swan neck, which is that connecting pipe over there.
Right.
The water boils in this basin here. Steam is sent through the lavender, and the water picks up the oils. Obviously, the oil is transported by the steam through the swan neck, and then that pipe in the top does not actually come in contact with the water that's cycled through the condenser. This is a condenser. It comes out here. So the steam comes through, cools in the coil from the water, and then is discharged through the bottom pipe into a container, which we capture and then separate the oil from the water once that cools.
And this is where Katrina shines. This store is your baby. We talked about lavender honey out in the field, and it is here in the store. It's a darker colored honey than what I'm used to seeing. Usually it's an amber color, but you have a lot of cool things here. So just explain what you've got here in front of us. It's amazing.
So what we do is we take our lavender and our chamomile grown here, and we actually low infuse it with honey that we receive from Osprey Bluffs honey. So local, nice local honey. And so it is on a low heat, takes many, many days. We don't want to take out the raw factor in the honey, and that honey from that apiary happens to be a darker honey. That's how we receive it. So we just lightly infuse our stuff with it, so that we've got those nice scents.
Which is all natural. I see you have dried lavender here as well.
Yes. This is, we have partnered with Fairfields Organic, and they provide certified organic strawberries. So again, partnering locally with them, where we have taken our lavender, their strawberries, and made an amazing product.
How can people get in touch with you guys here? So whether it's to come to the store or have a tour, how can they get in touch with you?
Definitely go to our website, lusciouslavenderfarm.ca. We are also on Facebook and Instagram as well, so you can message us directly. And we do have an online store you can purchase, and we can ship anywhere. So if you see any of the products and you want to try them at home, do feel free to shop online or come see us here on the farm.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Hi, I'm David Sherman. Join me for Politically Speaking Election Edition, where we will be meeting the candidates from Bruce Grey, Owen Sound, here on Rogers TV.
Summer days, summer nights, lots of things to do, places to go, and people to see. If you're having a few drinks, be sure to plan ahead and get home safely. We don't